welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
And a very, very fast start. Who's going to be in the lead as we make our way into the first 200 metres? The front of the race is settling down. 5 riders now there. Catherine Fura, Marlene Viard ahead is up there. So is Lisa Manson, Gemma Brogan and Golden Light. For today's race, it's been a fast one on MyWhoosh and the Sunday Race Club this afternoon. Now they're starting to get ready. We're on board Lisa Hermansen as she powers on at 579 watts. Now she cranks it up a little bit to 620. It's a bid for victory by the Swedish rider. Lisa Hermansen goes clear. Little bit of an advantage now on Katrin Fura and Marlene Viard ahead. Can the second category rider, Lisa Hermansen, win this race? She's being chased down. It's almost in sight now of the finish line. Can Hermansen do it? Fura is desperately trying to catch her before the line. Is she going to do it? Hits the line now. Behind her is Fura and Viard ahead. Let's get confirmation of the result. What a finish on MyWhoosh. It's Lisa Hermansen, the second category rider in the green jersey, who wins the race. Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh race. Today, the Sunday Race Club here on MyWhoosh. We're looking forward to another great day of racing. This is the qualifier race number 4. And we've got a strong lineup of 3 categories of women riders who will be taking to the start line for this 35-kilometre race. Let's take a look then at the track. This is the course that the riders will face. The opening phase of the course within the wonderful sights and sounds there of the likes of the Burj Khalifa. Then we work our way into the desert before we come back into more skyline and race back into the mountains for the backdrop of the race finish. 35 kilometres, 704 metres of climbing today. Along the way then, the riders will take part in these segments. Let's take a look at the team lineups. Let's just have a look. The riders in Category 1 will be the Strong Girls, the Spartan Obstacles and Las Colombianas. We've also got a number of individual riders who will also be in the race lineup today. Category 2, they're in the green jerseys. 4 different squads will be lining up. A couple of individual riders, including last time's winner, Lisa Hermansen, but also Team Fitness 10, the Team RT Cycle Zone, Salam Bike Shop, and the Strong Women team as well. Some very strong contenders for today's Sunday Race Club. We're looking forward to who takes today's race victory. This is Category 3 and 4 squads in there. The Energy Girls, Team RT Ladies CZ, Salam Bike Shop and the Climber Girls. Category 3, they will be wearing the blue jerseys. We're on the start line. We're 1 minute and 17 seconds from the race start. A very warm welcome to MyWhoosh, to the Sunday Race Club. This is us doing the qualification race number 4. Next weekend is the big money race final. We'll look forward to streaming that, and I hope you'll join us throughout that race as well. So the riders are on their smart trainers. They're warming up to get themselves ready. It's going to be a good tussle, I think, today. The women's race last time out was won by the Category 2 rider, Lisa Hermansen. But she, of course, will be a Category 2 rider again. This time out, 4 of the top 6 women in Category 1 are on the start line. 5 of the Category 2 riders in the top 6 are on the start line again. And today, 5 of the Cat 3 riders in the top 6, they're on the start line too. So you can see the strength and depth of the peloton that we have got here ready for today's race start. And it looks like that means that we will have a really strong type of race today. The riders have got to think about how they play their tactics today, though, because the last part of this course is very, very difficult. There's about 425 meters of climbing in the final phase. The riders are underway then, and they make their way off the start line. Got to get a very strong start on MyWhoosh. Always important to get off the line quickly, get yourself at the front of the race, get yourselves into the peloton, and then things normally calm down after 3 or 4 minutes of racing. So the riders just settle themselves into the groups. And it looked like some of our Category 3 riders were the fastest away from the start, but they're starting to be washed away now. And it's Lisa Manson, who's the rider who's at the front. We're on board with Golden Light. Golden Light is a strong rider, one of our second category riders. Last time out, Golden Light was second in the Category 2 race. Has ridden Cat 1 before and finished in third place, but has settled into being more of a second category rider. Will be wearing the green jersey today, but as you can see, has got the strength and is already ahead of last time's winner, Lisa Hermansen, who looks to be just sitting in on the wheel as we go back here with Fiona Schroeder. Fiona Schroeder in that yellow jersey, riding for the Strong Girls squad. Hasn't had a good start, 23rd place for Fiona Schroeder, and sitting in the group of third category riders at the moment. Meanwhile, at the front, it's quite a strong group of riders who are sharing the pacemaking. Golden Light leading from Jojo Bauer, Lisa Manson as well. Golden Light just making these few twists and turns as we make our way through the Dubai skyline. Marlene Bjarhed trying to get across this Swedish rider who last time out got second in the Category 1 competition. And each week we've got the Category 1, Category 2, Category 3, and the riders do qualify for each of their individual categories, although they ride as a peloton, and that's why we have the different jerseys, so you're able to just pick out who the different categories of riders are. We're watching now Noveline Kukkonen, who was lying 5th in the race so far. Noveline finished second twice in the Category 2 race. Is a strong rider, just working her way through the field into second place at the moment. You'll notice the way that the ebb and flow of the peloton generally works. It's the same as if you're sitting in a peloton in a race as we make our way past the Burj Al Arab. We're only about 300 meters now from the first of our segments. And there'll be 7 segments that the riders will face today. Back with Fiona Schroeder. A little bit of work to do for Fiona Schroeder. There's a reminder then of the different course today that we are racing. The Women's Challenge, 704 meters of climbing, and that first segment is coming up, and they've just cut the lasers. So we are making our way now into this first segment, 1 kilometer in length. Very important to keep a nice, consistent effort on that smart trainer. The riders sitting at home or in a place of exercise with their smart trainer, it's connected to MyWhoosh. MyWhoosh controls how that smart trainer feels. So it feels like you're going uphill. It feels easy when you're going downhill. When you're on the flat, it just feels like you're rolling along. You can change gear, feel just how your legs are as though you're riding on a normal road. It's a lovely way to train. It's a great way to get to know people as well. There's a fantastic community on MyWhoosh, and you can follow it on MyWhoosh on Instagram, Facebook, and my_whoosh on Twitter. And don't forget, if you want to find out a little bit more, please go to mywhoosh.com and you can find out all about the racing and you can get involved. You can also get involved in the live chat today. So if you are watching the race on our live stream, feel free to send me a message. I'm Anthony McCrossan, and we can shout out some of the riders who are taking part in today's race. Getting towards the end of our first segment this afternoon, and we can see the gantry across the road. It will be given the result as the list of riders with the time that they took for that segment, not the first rider across the line always. So we cut the lasers and let's find out who was the fastest rider in segment number 1. Well, Carup Quevedo, riding for the team of Spartan Obstacles with a time of 1:39.891. Carup then, Category 1 rider. That's a very strong performance ahead of Golden Light, Lisa Hermansen, last time's winner, and then Jojo Bauer, who also finished in the top places last time with a third place, riding for Las Colombianas. They've got a group of very strong riders. Today in the Category 1 race, Las Colombianas have got Rebecca Dallimore, Jojo Bauer and Rosalina Barragan, who are the riders that are representing that particular team. There's the rundown then of the top 12 riders. A little bit of a mix of Cat 1 and Cat 2 riders on the race. And on our left-hand side, confirmation of segment number 1. We're only 400 metres now from segment number 2. We go back then to join up with Rosalina Barragan, lying 11th at the moment. Rosalina is the third counting member of Las Colombianas, rolling along at 123 watts as we reach segment number 2 for our front group of riders. We cut the lasers then. Front group of riders are riding strongly at the moment. There's quite a few Category 2 riders in those green jerseys who found their way into this front group. And we're watching Carup Quevedo, who was the rider who took segment number 1 with that really strong showing. We've got 9 riders in that front group. Lisa Manson safely in there. The 2 Swedish riders, Marlene Bjardehead, in there as well. Real mix of nationalities in this front group this afternoon. Looks like they are riding a fairly steady tempo on this particular section, 34 kilometers an hour. They may well be thinking about this last phase of the race today. 425 meters of elevation over the last sector of today's race. We reached that with around 28 kilometers of racing covered. So that last 7 kilometers has got a lot of climbing in it. 7 kilometers in total have got 425 meters of climbing. So for these riders, you really need to think about your energy usage today and think about squeezing the juice out of an orange or a lemon. Get that last drip out when you cross the finish line today, as opposed to, at the moment, getting across this sector and feeling like you're in the red zone already. You would have a terrible final climb. Through segment number 2, and let's take a look at the results. Who is going to be the fastest rider? And this time it's Golden Light who took the best place at that time, ahead of Lisa Hermansen and Jojo Bauer. So Golden Light, one of the Category 1 riders, setting a pace of 1:47.605. Golden Light then ahead of Lisa Hermansen, who's now a Category 2 rider, and Jojo Bauer, again up there as a Category 1 rider in third place. 9 riders have reached that particular section. That time, Carup Quevedo down in 9th place, so 1:48. But that group of front riders sticking very well together. Our third segment comes up with 6.3 kilometers covered, so we're 700 meters now from that particular segment. And our front group of riders, Jojo Bauer, Golden Light, with a slender advantage of just a second on the group of riders behind. Right-hand side, Rosalina Barragan, 10th place on the road. Trying to keep her group of riders riding well together. Just got to keep them moving through and off, stay near the front, share the pacemaking, be intent on trying to catch the riders in front. Looks like we've got a group of 4 riders now. We've just opened up a slight advantage on the chasers. That group of 4, Lisa Manson, Marlene Biared, Jojo Bauer and Golden Light as we hit segment number 3. Crossing the lasers. Let's see who takes the fastest time. The first 2 segments taken by Carup Quevedo and Golden Light. The riders being told on the right-hand side. A little bit of climbing coming up. There's a reminder of that segment 2, 1:47.605. Now we've emerged from the skyline of Dubai into the desert, and as you can see, looks a little bit like the Al Qudra cycle track, and we're going to head back in towards Dubai again. Lovely to see us get the chance to ride on these roads, which of course have become so linked with cycling across the UAE, these wonderful closed road tracks that we get across the UAE, which have just developed over the last few years. And it's wonderful the way that the riders in the UAE are able to ride without any care about cars or anything else that you get in other European cities. The group 2 on the road then, they've just crossed the start line of segment 3. Little uphill section. Golden Light putting in a little bit of tempo now. The camels seem to be enjoying watching the racing this afternoon. Don't forget you can join me on the live chat on the live stream if you would like to. Is there a rider you're trying to cheer on this afternoon that you want to see take today's victory? Not far from the end of this particular segment. 1.4 kilometers to go. A little bit of an acceleration by Lisa Hermansen, again showing just how strong she is in this MyWhoosh racing. Carup Quevedo coming across. And Marlene Biared also keen to get involved in the action as well today. Not long until we're out of the desert. The balloons in the background just hovering above the desert landscape. Lisa Manson and Jojo Bauer sharing the tempo nicely now. Almost in this little oasis. Bit of shade finally for the riders. 800 meters to go to the end of this segment, and Lisa Manson seems pretty intent and trying to stretch this pace now. Rolling along at 34 kilometers an hour. Little bit of a left-hand bend coming up, then a right-hand. But this section is quite a steep, a little bit of a leg hurter. Gets up to over 8%. Top right-hand side of the screen, then you can see the yellow counter as we head towards Ferrari World. Jojo Bauer has been always involved in the action today. Jojo Bauer, Lisa Manson, Carup Quevedo, all up there as we see a little bit of an attack. Looks like Lisa Manson trying to stretch the race yet again. Fast downhill section after that tough little climb. Going downhill at around about 7% now, and then a bend round to the right-hand side as we go through the end of sector number 3. Segment 3 then taken again by Carup Quevedo, having a wonderful day on MyWhoosh. 3 minutes 52.913, ahead of Angie Parra. Angie Parra has been a second category rider who's been very strong this season. Jojo Bauer there in 3rd place, and Lisa Hermansen, despite those little accelerations, finishes 4th in that segment. 8 riders have reached there, and a bit of a combination with the strong women dominating that leaderboard. Back on board with Jojo Bauer. 3 segments completed. Our next segment comes up. It's a 1 kilometre segment, and it's at 10.1 kilometres of racing. 700 metres until we reach there. So there's where we are on the course. We've done that opening segments, the first 3. We're now on to segment 4. We'll hit that, a 1 kilometre segment. Then we go on to our next bit, which is around about 2 kilometres, then 3.5, and then a 4 kilometre segment that takes us almost to the finish line up through the mountains today. $300 metres until segment number 4. Our leading group still intact. Lisa Hermansen, Marlene Bjarhed, Jojo Bauer, Karut Quevedo and Angie Para having a great race today. Angie Para was 3rd in the Category 2 race last time. They can see segment 4 in front of them. This race is going quickly, isn't it? Reaching a different segments fast. We cut the lasers with our 5 leaders now. Hermansen, Karut Quevedo, Lisa Hermansen, Jojo Bauer and Angie Para and Golden Light, all in that group, working well, just sharing the pacemaking, going through to the front, doing a little bit of work on the front, swinging over, let the next rider come in. Right hand side of the screen, we're on board with Novelin Kukkonen. Novelin so far this season, twice 2nd place in races, has qualified for the big money final next weekend, and I'm sure you're all going to join us for that. It's going to be a great day of racing with a lot of money on offer here on MyWhoosh. Novelin Kukkonen up there on the top left hand side, then 211 watts, spinning along at 63 revs per minute, a relatively slow pedaling speed. Heart rate up at 166, shows you just how hard these riders are having to race this afternoon. We've already covered 10 kilometres of racing. Not been an easy race so far. 3 first category riders, 3 second category riders in the front group. So 6 riders. Next on the road is Natalie Hernandez, then Julie Sanchez, then Novelin Kukkonen. And there's confirmation of segment number 4. And that was taken by Golden Light, ahead of Karut Quevedo and Jojo Bauer. We're back with Natalie Hernandez. Natalie Hernandez is the leader of the next group with Julie Sanchez. These 2 riders just trying to work together as they head towards the end of this segment number 4. It's just coming up. You can see it just in front of them. They're just going to cover this 11.1 kilometres of racing. Natalie Hernandez, Julie Sanchez cut the lasers and they appear on the leaderboard. 7th and 8th. Hernandez with a 1:49.487, 8 seconds off the leader Golden Light. Back with our leading group of 6. These avatars looking good this afternoon, aren't they? Some of them on their MyWhoosh bikes, some on the Colnago machines. The rider's able to swap things around in their garage as always as we go on board Novelin Kukkonen. Looks comfortable riding there on the tops in a group of riders. Putting out 195 watts at the moment with Golden Light. Novelin Kukkonen rolling along just a couple of kilometres an hour slower than the front group. 200 metres until we reach segment number 5. The Golden Light group almost there then. They're looking for the lasers. There they are. They're going to go through. So far then, Karut Quevedo and Golden Light have dominated these segments with the fastest times. 2 jerseys each. This particular segment, 2 kilometres in length. Might suit Golden Light a little bit more than Karut Quevedo, but let's wait and see what happens as we work our way back down onto the coastline. A bit of a left-hand turn, doubling back on ourselves over the bridge. Bit of a climb for the riders to deal with. And on these smart trainer machines, these little climbs can really be strength sapping. You've got to work hard, be out the saddle, keep the pressure on the pedals as much as possible. Lisa Manson making a very, very good job of this climb. Now let's remember, up there on the top right-hand side of the screen, 159 metres of climbing have been covered so far. And today we've got 704 metres of climbing in total. So we're nowhere near the amount of elevation that the riders will eventually deal with today in Sunday Race Club. Don't forget to join us on the live chat if you would like to, on our live stream. Cheer on your rider that you want them to win. Pick a favourite nation, pick a favourite rider. So far in the last few rounds, we've seen the races won by Elizabeth Van Hoyling. We haven't seen her for a couple of weeks now. And Katrin Fura. But the riders last time who featured in the race, Marlene Bjarrehead, Jojo Bauer, Gemma Brogan, Rebecca Dallimore, Lisa Manson, Golden Light and Angie Para. They were all featured up towards the front of the last race. Lisa Manson was the winner. So do you want Lisa to win? Would you like someone else to win? Get involved in the live chat on the live stream. And don't forget to follow us at MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook, as well as on Twitter, my_whoosh. Lisa Manson then, at 13.5 kilometres. We're in our 5th segment. This segment in total is 2 kilometres in length. So far, Karut Quevedo and Golden Light, the dominant force in the segments. Big question is whether they have anyone in this group is saving their legs for the final climb of the day. Back with Rosalina Barragan, right-hand side of the screen, putting out 216 watts. A very impressive performance by Rosalina Barragan, who's lying 10th overall. Rosalino rides for Las Colombianas. As we reach the end of segment 5. We cut the lasers. Who is at the top of the leaderboard? Jojo Bauer takes her first jersey of the afternoon. Jojo Bauer, 3 minutes 21.327, just a split second ahead of Lisa Manson. Manson 0.484 down on Jojo Bauer, 0.494 down on Jojo Bauer, and 0.594 ahead Jojo Bauer of Karut Quevedo that time. Las Colombianas, top of the leaderboard on segment number 5. .8 kilometres covered of the 35 that we face this afternoon. .34 kilometres an hour at this moment, the riders racing along at. There's confirmation on the left-hand side of segment number 5. We're coming more into the skyline of the UAE again. And here's a reminder of what we're about to see. Back into the skyline with the wonderful different buildings that we see across the UAE. We are approaching segment number 6, if you're wondering where we are. Jojo Bauer starts to attack. Little bit of an acceleration. Look at the watts she's putting out. Nearly 400 watts. Heart rate working exceptionally high now. Up at 174 beats a minute by Jojo Bauer. This is an impressive move. And Bauer desperately trying to crack the rest of the riders behind her. Golden Light on the front with Marlene Biard ahead. Lisa Manson, Karib Quevedo, Angie Para, all there, desperately trying to get back on terms. This is a concerted effort to win this race. Look at the heart rate on Jojo Bauer, 191 beats a minute. Well, this isn't a bid to win the race. I don't know what is. This is very, very impressive now from Jojo Bauer as she goes clear. Look at the speed. Jojo Bauer continues with this intensity. 188 beats a minute. 85 revs getting out of that bike. The power significantly higher than the second group. Marlene Biard ahead, Lisa Manson. Biard at the moment at 266 watts. Jojo Bauer at 481. How much longer has Jojo Bauer got this sort of pace in the legs? Biarhead recognises she's got to do something about this. Bauer's putting out just under 5 watts per kilo. Marlene Biarhead, in response, is trying to put out nearly 7 watts per kilo. The gap is around about 8 seconds. Can Jojo Bauer split this group behind her? There's Bauer. Behind her is Marlene Biarhead and her country folk Lisa Hermansen. Looks like the two of them are going to work their way back to Jojo Bauer. So whereas on the climb Bauer was quicker, Biarhead and Hermansen look like they've got the measure of her on the flatter road and into the descent. We come back together at the front. Hermansen, Biard ahead, and Jojo Bauer now are 3 leaders. They've left behind Golden Light, Karib Quevedo, and Angie Para. There's going to have to be a concerted effort now by Golden Light and Quevedo to find their way back to the front of this race. Well, thank you for joining me on MyWhoosh. This is race number 4 of the Sunday Race Club. If you want to find out more, do go to mywhoosh.com, visit there. And if you want to take part in the races, look up the events tab on mywhoosh.com, and also just keep an eye on the general chat around this wonderful platform that we're racing on. Lisa Manson, heart rate down at 151, Golden Light at 167. Everyone's calmed down a little. There's a bit of watts increasing here and there, but mostly things have settled down quite considerably. Our next segment, we're nearly there now. We've got around about 1.8 kilometres to go. That's going to be a fairly long segment, 3.5 kilometres in length. But so far we've had a mix of 3 different riders taking the segments that we've seen so far. Golden Light has been up there all the time, Karib Quevedo and Jojo Bauer. See whether someone else is starting to become a little bit stronger. Sometimes these races at the beginning you can feel pretty dreadful, and then you ride your way into it because such is the intensity of the effort. If you haven't warmed up sufficiently, you can feel terrible for a long time. Then the body clicks over after a little while, and eventually you ride into the race and you start to feel better and better. If though you have gone out a little bit too hard, then the end of this race is really going to bite you this afternoon. Our top place riders, we're watching Jojo Bauer. Looks like she, having made that acceleration, has decided, right, let's just settle in. I know I'm feeling good, so let's just wait for another opportunity to come my way, see if I can win this race this afternoon. It would be a little bit of a surprise, although last time out she finished third in the first category event, that was, so fourth overall. But Catherine Fura not here this time. We hope that Catherine will be back for next week's big prize money race. She finished fifth in her first race in Sunday Race Club. That was round number 2, the Tour of the Desert. But then last time she was so strong during the race. This is Corrib Quevedo. She's now lying fourth on the road. There's a bit of a gap to the front trio, who seemingly are starting to really consolidate their lead. "300 metres to go to the end of this run-in to segment number 6, and we can see segment 6 just in front of us. This is the moment where the riders can pick up the leader's jersey for that particular segment. And our 3 leaders are just starting to work their way out into this segment. Hermansen, Bjared, and Jojo Bauer. They slice the lasers and we're into this long segment. 3.5 kilometers of flat-out effort to be top of the leaderboard. You can immediately see the flashing of the watts up there on the top left-hand side. You can see where we've got our little scale, 215 watts being shown there. And at the top, the scale changes. It goes green, it goes yellow, it goes orange, goes red. And if you're in the red zone, you're putting out more watts than most people can put out on the planet. "143 beats a minute for Lisa Hermansen. Well, this racing, of course, getting more and more popular all the time, with riders taking up MyWhoosh across the world. Just enjoying the feeling of training indoors, the safety of it as well. And during the last few years, some of the top pro riders in the world have been selected through virtual racing, so it's becoming a really reputable, incredible platform for the riders to race on. We're into segment 6. We're back with Fiona Schroeder, who's 15th overall at the moment. She's in a group that does contain a number of top riders. We haven't seen much of the third category riders in the blue jerseys, but they are towards the bottom of the field. We've got the teams of Energy Girls, RT Lady CZ, Salam Bike Shop team, and the Climber Girls in that particular group of riders. Last time out, it was Nympha Kolkol who took the win as an individual rider, and she is riding again. Jackie Giuliano was second place for the Climber Girls, and again will be taken to the race start for the Climber Girls today. And there they are. Here we are with the blue jerseys, with Jackie Giuliano lying in 22nd place overall out of the 27 women who are taking part. Jackie Giuliano, second last time out behind Nympha Kolkol. Nice to get the chance to see our third category riders in those blue jerseys. We're now 2 kilometres from the end of segment number 6. Looks like Bjarhead and Manson are just trying to drop Jojo Bauer again. This is our opportunity really to see our third category riders and a chance for you to see that you can ride at whatever level. You don't have to be one of the elite riders in the yellow on the right hand side of the screen. This platform is for everybody, so if you want to take part you can find your level. Don't forget, involved in the live chat, come and join us this afternoon. Our live chat is on the live stream. If you'd like to let me know who you want to win this race, please feel free, type away. I'm Anthony McCrossan, lovely to bring you MyWhoosh this afternoon. This is our Sunday Race Club, and we're enjoying bringing you this every weekend. Karip Quevedo, left-hand side, in the chasing group, behind our 3 leaders. Lying at the moment, 4th overall on the road, and not long until we find out who wins this segment. It's a strength-sapping course this afternoon. We're at 21 kilometres. We've got around 14 kilometres of racing remaining till we find out who takes the victory. So they're short, snappy races, but the intensity is very, very high. Karip Quevedo refusing to give in on chasing down these 3 riders in front, but they still have a pretty significant advantage. Little bit of a bend round to the right hand side with a slight climb, little bit of an ascent of 2.7%. The magic number as far as the end of the segment is concerned is 23. So top left hand side of the screen then will be 23 kilometres. And this is Golden Light, lying 6th overall on the road. Started well, Golden Light, but has obviously started to fade a little bit. Finding this tempo quite hot to handle as we make our way back to Ferrari World. Here's our leading trio. In the last races, these have been the dominant forces in MyWhoosh. Downhill now, 60 kilometers an hour. The bike will feel like it's flat out. We're about to reach the end of segment 6. Through MyWhoosh segment 6, and it was Lisa Hermansen who is starting to show that she is in the ascendancy. Hermansen then is the leader by 0.294 ahead of Jojo Bauer and 0.792 ahead of Marlene Bjarhead. Lisa Manson putting out 4 watts per kilo. The heart rate, not too bad, 156 beats a minute. Marlene Bjarhead up there at 173. All these riders then will analyse all their data all the time, try and work out how they can go a little bit better than one of the riders alongside them. Only one more segment remains. Left-hand side reminds us segment number 6. Our final segment comes up in 6 kilometers time. Before then, the riders have a little bit of a ride through the UAE skyline. Here's the checkpoint for segment 6 for Golden Light as we approach Yas Island. Confirmation then that Lisa Manson did take it ahead of Jojo Bauer, Marlene Bjarhead, and behind them was Karip Quevedo. Then it was Angie Parra, and then Golden Light. Coming up to the 40-minute mark with 24 kilometres completed. 11 kilometres now remain. Now the big question will be who has got the climbing prowess in this front group. We haven't seen too much of that so far. We know we've been on rolling roads at times, but looking through this front group of riders with Bjared Hermansen and Jojo Bauer, really difficult to pick a winner. Hermansen clearly is supremely strong, so it might well be her. She seems to ride pretty efficiently at the moment, for example, 2 and a bit, just over 2.3 watts per kilo. So she's not a rider who seems to be using a huge amount of power on the flat compared to others. At the moment, she's at 2.4. Marlene Bjared is up at 3.3 watts per kilo. So in order to go the same speed, Marlene Bjared's having to put out a huge amount more power. Three kilometers until we reach our next and final segment. That will take us to 32.8 kilometers of racing covered. There we are. We'll just give you that little bit of an insight. We're making our way out of the UAE skyline and into the far right hand side now, into segment number 7, 27.9 kilometers covered, into the rolling roads and really tough 425 meters of elevation in that last section, which is only about 7 kilometers. So it's going to be a tough one. Let's see how this does unfold. Let me know who you think might win if you are watching and you want to join us on the live chat this afternoon. Just type away to your heart's content. And always great to join you on MyWhoosh on a Sunday for Sunday Race Club. Keep an eye next weekend on the big money prize races. And then thereafter, just keep a close eye on the events that are coming up. Why not join us? You can have a real go. You might win something, you never know. Right hand side, we are with the rider who's 13th on the road. Left hand side, the corresponding leaders of the race with our top 3. But it's Faye Faber, who is the rider who's 13th, with Fiona Schroeder, who is 14th on the road. Faye Faber riding at the moment in that little group. She's one of the first category riders as we go back with Rebecca Dallimore, who is now 16th on the road. Another first category rider riding for the Las Colombianas team. Las Colombianas made up of Rebecca Dallimore, Jojo Bauer and Rosalina Barrigan. Today is one of those days, though, where a rider has got to feel like they are perfectly in the zone to win this sort of race, because it's strength sapping, it's intense, it hurts the legs, the heart rate is high, there's no real respite from the toughness of this terrain. The rider's always going up and down, really hard climbs at the end. So it's a proper strength sapper this afternoon. The leading riders are 2.5 kilometers from our final segment. Jojo Bauer, Marlene Bjared, Lisa Hermansen, are they going to fight it out, or can a rider catch them from behind? The likes of Golden Light, Karup Quevedo and Angie Para. Could one of those 3 riders cross the gap, or is the gap insurmountable now? So we're on a long straight road, a little bit of a bend now and then, round to the left, round to the right, so we make our way along the water side. The wind conditions not really bothering the riders too much today. as we look from the elevated shot, looking down on our trio. And now we get a bit of an acceleration as Jojo Bauer decides to try again. She's obviously decided that it's much too steady for her. 8 kilometers of racing now remain on today's race. We will start to make our way towards the mountains. Give us that real sense of the likes of Jebel Hafid and other mountains in the UAE. We're 1.5 kilometers from the opening of segment 7. The real story of the race then has been this trio. They went away nice and early. The group behind them have worked well together, Golden Light, Quevedo and Para, but they've never really got on terms, haven't they? They've just been riding together for a significant amount of time. Quevedo right along at 88 revs per minute. Still up at 2.7 watts per kilo. Putting out a decent amount of power through those legs. And a mix of MyWhoosh and Colnago bikes in the group. Quevedo, one of the riders on one of the Colnago machines. Let's get ourselves set then for our final segment this afternoon. This is segment number 7 coming up. 800 meters until we reach there. We're on board with Lisa Hermansson, the Swedish powerhouse. Jojo Bauer skating along behind, just sitting in the wheels. Is Hermansson yet again going to beat all the first category riders and win another race? Here's our chasing group, way down on the road, 19th place on the road for our third category riders, but good to get a little bit of glimpse of Maria Saguid and the other riders. Rides for the Salam Bike Shop team, Maria Saguid. Riding there with a couple of other riders. Looks like Christine Dagui is also there, one of the individual riders. Well, they're riding along pretty strongly, and we are now approaching our final segment. It's a 4-kilometer segment, and there is the start of it as we make our way into the mountains. 28.8 kilometers of racing covered. This is a 4-kilometer segment now. So far today, Golden Light's taken 2, Quevedo 2, Jojo Bauer and Lisa Hermansson. But it's a dominant group of 3 riders now who head this race. Their advantage has grown significantly between them and the likes of Golden Light, Quevedo and Para. The gap is 1 minute 58 seconds, now growing to 2 minutes. So it looks like our winner will come from this front group of riders. It looks like they're working well together. Can they keep this one going? We're now getting into the rocky outcrops of the mountains. Gives that real sense of heat and intensity. The sun on the back. The riders rolling through this spectacular landscape that we've got very used to in the UAE races. 29.5 kilometers. We will reach the end of this segment at 32.8. Keep an eye on the heart rates. Keep an eye on the cadence. Marlene Biar ahead, struggling and suffering up this climb. Still riding at 33 kilometers an hour with a heart rate at 176. right up there towards the peak of what would be expected. These riders at the end of this race will really know they've been in a tussle, because once you ride this sort of course, you really do feel it afterwards. Very important for all these riders who are thinking about next week that they make sure that they hydrate, they get their nutrition right, because otherwise, come next weekend, they will just feel like they're a little bit, not empty, but they just don't have that edge. They need to recover. They need to feel like they are strong and mentally focused, because MyWhoosh is all about that. It's good for your head, but also you have got to be in the best place possible to be able to peak that intensity, really push it hard. Our leading trio, Hermansson and Bjarhed, the two Swedish riders with Jojo Bauer at the front. They were part of the groups of last week. Can Jojo Bauer pull this one off? Bauer, the first time we'd seen her in the top places was last week in third place overall. But can she finally take the victory she's looking for? This is Sunday Race Club. This is race number 4. And on the screen at the moment, Karub Quevedo, who is just seeing golden light race away from her on this climb. 325 meters of climbing covered. The group of Jojo Bauer, who is now seeing Bjarhed and Hermansson ride away from her, are getting towards the elevation of 400 meters. Still 300 meters of climbing to go. And Jojo Bauer is having to dig in really hard now to try and stay with the two fast-moving Swedes who have looked like they are in control. Can they do this? Jojo Bauer working her way back. This is a clever ride here, refusing to get drawn in to the accelerations, riding her own tempo, and now she comes back, and not only that, having come back, she goes straight to the front. Bjarhed and Hermansson refuse to accept that, so they go past, go back on the front. 1.6 kilometers till we reach the end of this segment. Bauer looked to me like she sat up for a moment. She's still putting out 4.3 watts per kilo. But the gap starts to grow again. Bjarhed and Hermansson, they're sensing that they've got an opportunity now. These two Swedish riders have been inseparable over the last couple of weeks. Every now and then, Hermansson in the green, looking around just to find out where Jojo Bauer is. Marlene Bjarhed in the yellow, Hermansson in the green jersey, a second category rider. 1.2 kilometers to go to the end of this segment. Coming up to 55 minutes of racing covered. When Jojo Bauer looks like she's finally cracked. They have made sure that they have got rid of her this afternoon. Great teamwork by the two Swedish riders. Bjarhed is an individual rider, so is Hermansson. Jojo Bauer still riding well, around about 300 watts. But Hermansson is now stretching the pace again. Refusing to let Bjarhed ride with her, but she does manage to crawl her way back onto the wheel. Still got a fair amount of climbing to go. They've done 467 meters. They've got 704 in total. A little bit of a bend round to the right and round to the left. Lovely roads to race on this afternoon. Well, thank you for joining us at MyWhoosh. Do follow us on our social media and do follow the website mywhoosh.com for lots of information about the events, results, and everything else going on this global cycling platform. Coming up towards the 500 meter mark, so still over 200 meters of ascent still remain on today's race. That's in terms of vertical meters. That's coming up in 2.5 kilometers. So 200 meters in 200 kilometers. In 2.5 kilometers. That's a fair distance of climbing. Hermansen, having been overtaken by Biara ahead, out the saddle, working her way back onto the wheel. Putting out just under 4 watts per kilo. Marlene Bjarred is up there at 4.8. Bjarred finished second in the Cat 1 races last week. She was third overall because Hermansen won it. But Bjarred suddenly has appeared on the results with Lisa Hermansen. These two riders are starting to show just how strong they are. As we make our way through the end of segment number 7, Marlene Bjarred took it that time with an 8 minutes 19 climb. Behind her, Hermansen just 0.468 down, and they were 9.75 seconds ahead of Jojo Bauer of Las Colombianas. Now these two riders get themselves set for the finish. Confirmation there on the left-hand side of segment number 7. So the various segments, 2 taken by Karut Quevedo, 2 by Golden Light, 1 by Jojo Bauer, 1 by Lisa Hermansen, 1 by Bjarred. Jojo Bauer trying to make a concerted effort to catch the leaders now. Here she is. Can she get herself back up there? She knows it's not far to the finish line now. 1.7 kilometers to go. Coming up towards the hour mark. Steady climb at 24 kilometers an hour. It may feel a little bit slow and steady, but this has been an extreme race today. The two Swedish riders with that advantage on Jojo Bauer. Every now and then, Bauer gets out the saddle, puts in a little bit more of a turn of pace. As you can see, another big effort by the rider in third place on the climb. Who is going to take this victory this afternoon? Let us know on the live chat, on the live stream. Our top 3 riders: Marlene Bjarred, Lisa Hermansen, Jojo Bauer. Only 1.3 kilometers to go. Now things start to even out a little. Still just over 100 meters of climbing to do before the race finish, so it's still pretty extreme. Marlene Bjarred, she's the rider in the yellow jersey on the left. Just trying to sense whether Hermansen is feeling good. Jojo Bauer still out the saddle, sprints over that little section. Now there's a bit of respite. It will feel flat, even although the gradient's around about 2%. Now it drops down to 0.7%. So now it feels like it really is flat. Bauer has got a little bit of speed in those wheels. Looks like it might be a little bit too late. Bjarred and Hermansen have ridden a superb race here in the UAE course. Sunday Race Club, race number 4 is coming to a conclusion, and Jojo Bauer is closing the gap. She can see the leaders. This has been a clever climb by Jojo Bauer. She sat up. She let the gap go. She's let the 2 Swedish riders tussle it out at the front. And Jojo Bauer is coming back. Is she going to surprise them? Is she going to go straight past? 600 meters to go. Well, this MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club has given us a little bit of something to talk about. Look at Jojo Bauer go. Another big attack, and it comes here from Lisa Hermansson, who signifies and realizes that this is dangerous. Jojo Bauer tantalizingly close. Hermansson looks across. She can see behind that Bauer is almost there. 300 meters to go. Bjared and Hermansson cannot afford to mess around. Otherwise, Jojo Bauer is going to pounce and take the victory in race 4 of the Sunday Race Club. We're being treated to an absolute finale now. Hermansson in the green. Marlene Bjared in the yellow. There's the gantry for the finish line. Who is going to take race number 4? It looks like it's going to be the double for Lisa Hermansson. Almost shoulder to shoulder. Jojo Bauer in 3rd place. What a finish she gave us. We're going to check who took the result with the photo finish. Here we go. And it was Marlene Bjared who took it with the throw of the bike on the line ahead of Lisa Hermansson. The Las Colombianas rider, Jojo Bauer, gave us something to shout about on the run into the finish. She takes 3rd place. We're back with the next group of riders, Golden Light and Karup Quevedo. They're 800 meters from the finish line. Quevedo and Golden Light. Golden Light in the yellow, Quevedo in the green jersey. Marlene Bjared will be extremely pleased with that. 2nd last time out in Category 1. Winner this time. Lisa Hermansson wins the green jersey, the Category 2. As we watch these 2 riders climb their way to the top. 600 meters still to go. The gradient here around about 4.5%. Golden Light and Angie Para have almost concluded what has been a tough day in the saddle. While these races do look short sometimes, at around about an hour, but they are so intense. Golden Light just testing Angie Para out a little here. This is a big acceleration from the rider in the green jersey. Angie Para's now gone clear. Golden Light now, and here is Quevedo. Quevedo is coming up. This is all moving around now. There are riders who have really measured their effort well on this final climb. It's been pretty impressive. As we make our way up towards the finish line, Karup Quevedo, who took 2 of the jerseys along the way, crosses the line. Let's take a look at the results. Category 1, Marlene Bjared takes the race victory. Head of Lisa Hermansson, who is in a green jersey, will win Category 2. Jojo Bauer there in 3rd for Las Colombianas, then Karup Quevedo and Golden Light in 5th place. Fantastic racing. Angie Para making her way up to complete the course. 400 meters to go for Angie Para now. She's just spinning the legs, recovering and riding in Putting out 200 odd watts though, so still a significant climb. Heart rate's calmed down to 142 beats a minute. But Marlene Bjared is the winner of race qualification 4 for the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. 200 metres to go then for Angie Para. Little bit of a turn round to the right, then a little bit of a trickle to the left, then into the race finish. Just over an hour and 5 minutes of racing. Angie Para is going to take a top 6, but it's going to be top 3 in the Category 2 race for her as well. She sees the gantry, there's the lasers. Angie Para brings her race to its conclusion. A final glimpse of the results. So the individual riders Marlene Bjared and Lisa Hermansen dominated today's race. Jojo Bauer almost caught them at the finish line for Las Colombianas. And behind Karut Quevedo and Light and Angie Para of the Strong Women team in 6th place. Well, thanks very much for joining us. What a great day of racing we've had. Don't forget, next weekend, join us for the Big Money Final. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.